Hello and long time no see. It has been a while, and if you want to know what's been happening in my life, I gave a short little video which will be linked down below in the about section, and you can see just why I haven't made a video in like 3 months, and you can yell at me and be like, Paige, where the hell have you been? And I'll be like, I'm so sorry, it's been crazy. So if you want to check out that video, that's down below in the about section. If you don't want to see that, we can just go ahead and talk about this video that I'm gonna do. So usually I would do a bring it on books for the upcoming month and talk about the books that I'm looking forward to coming out. Well, since that didn't happen for August, September, or October, I am going to do a wrap up of those 3 months and the books that already came out that I am excited to read and get back into reading after my long ass reading slump. So let's just start with August. So for August there are a few books, and we will start off. Book number 1 for August is Public Enemies by Anne Aguirre, and that is the second book of the Immortal Games series, where the first book was Mortal Danger. This book came out last year, or Mortal Danger came out last year, and I wanted to read it, but I just didn't get the chance. So I am hoping to read this, Public Enemies, sometime this year. So since I have not read the first book, Mortal Danger, the first book of the series from its Goodreads synopsis, is about this girl who was kind of bullied in school, but then she meets someone who gives her powers and she gets to go back and kind of torment her bullies, but things turn from kind of revengeful to bloody, apparently. And it's very full of mystery, and it seems really exciting and interesting and intriguing, and the cover is basically what drove me to this book, and it's fabulous. So I'm excited to eventually read this, and that came out in August, so yes. Book number 2 for August is Never Always Sometimes by Adiel Said, and that also came out on August 4th. I read Let's Get Lost by Adiel Said in 2014, and I really liked it. It was a really interesting contemporary and something that I hadn't really read before in contemporary, with all these different points of view, with having the main character throughout. It's interesting. If you want to go and see my review on that, I will also link that down below in the about section so you can go and check that out. What this book is, Never Always Sometimes, is about is it's 2 best friends in high school, and they make a list, and the list has never, always, and sometimes of the things that they don't want to be stereotypical in high school, and they don't want to be cliches. And eventually one of the things on the list is never hook up with your best friend, or never pine for the same person secretly all throughout high school. Well, in their last year, the female friend is a little bit more rebellious and says, let's do everything on the nevers. And you can probably guess where things go and happen in this type of contemporary, and it seems really cute, and I really liked Adiel Said's last book, so I have high hopes for this one, and I can't wait to read it. The next book that came out in August came out on August 11th, and that is Reawakened by Colleen Houck. And I read the Tiger's Dream series a long time ago before I started BookTube, and I really liked it, and I liked the whole premise, and I loved it took place in India, and so I kind of learned more about the Indian culture and just some different things, and I liked being transported into another place in time. So when I found out that Colleen Houck was creating another type of book with kind of the same premise, taking place in Egypt, I was like, hell yeah, I want to read that. So I can't wait to read Reawakened. And what it is about, if you haven't read Tiger's Dream, so Reawakened is about this girl, and she takes a trip to Egypt, and this mummy basically comes alive, and he is a mummy prince, pharaoh from way back then, and there's usually quests and stuff involved, and I really like that type of stuff, so can't wait to read that. On August 25th, a book that I have been waiting for years to come out finally came out. Because I was in a reading slump and I had my dissertation, I wasn't able to read it, and I really want to read it, but I really need to reread the first book because it's been that long. The book I'm talking about is Lair of Dreams by Libba Bray, and I love Libba Bray. I would say she's probably one of my favorite authors, definitely in the top 3. And I read the first book of the series, which is The Diviners. I think it came back like out in 2013 or something like that. Read it then, and I've been waiting for the sequel, and it kept on being pushed back, and I love it, and it's the style that I really love from Libba Bray. So what The Diviners is about is you have, back in 1920s New York City, you have the main character, Evie, and she has this kind of power to where she can touch objects, and the objects have memories, and she can see and relive the memories of these objects. And she and other people that she meets but doesn't know that also have different abilities help this murderer from being happened. If you read A Great and Terrible Beauty by Libba Bray and you have not picked up The Diviners, it is a very similar feel to that of it's back in a different time and it just transports you, and it's magical and weird and mysterious and the things of Libba Bray that I adore. So I really highly recommend anything by Libba Bray. So yes, go and read and pick up this book, because after the book I'm reading, that is what I'm going to be picking up. And lastly, for August, we have The Rest of Us Just Live Here by Patrick Ness, and that came out on August 27th. And I've never read a Patrick Ness book, to be completely honest, and when I heard that this one was coming out, I just figured, why not put it on my wanting to read list. So basically what The Rest of Us Live Here is about, very brief synopsis, is that you know how in books you have kind of the main character who's destined to do things. Well, this is about the people and the person who's just kind of like the sidekicks, that they're not destined to do and accomplish these amazing tasks. So I thought that was a really interesting, like, complex of book and words, and yes. So let's move on to September, where on the first day of September, you have Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas, and I can't wait to sink my teeth into this book. I am currently rereading Heir of Fire. I used to hate the series, to be completely honest. I did not like the first 2 books of the series, but I thought, you know what? I'm gonna give the third one a try, and if I don't like the third one, then I'm just gonna stop the series. Read the third one of my favorite books. So I am currently rereading the third one, and hopefully helping me get out of my reading slump, and then I'm going to immediately pick up Queen of Shadows, because I need to know what happens, and I just need that book in my life, like, now. Sarah J. Maas is amazing, and the plot is just so complicated, so I'm just gonna let you guys look that up. Because I'm just so far into it and currently in the third book that I feel like I wouldn't be able to give you a short synopsis. So you guys can go and look that one up. But it's freaking awesome and I love it. So go and read it if you haven't, and pick it up if you haven't, because yes, it's fantastic. Well, I don't know about Queen of Shadows, but I'm guessing it's going to be epic. On the 22nd, you have The Tattooed Heart by Michael Grant, which is the second book of the Messenger of Fear series. I have not read The Messenger of Fear. I picked up the first book in BEA of 2014, and I just haven't gotten around to reading it because life. But basically, from the premise that I have seen and read, is that you have this girl and she sees the Messenger of Fear, and basically what he does is he, you know, has bad people live out their worst fears, and I just think that's an interesting concept. I don't really know much other than that, but I have a feeling that I'm really gonna like it, so can't wait to read that and then pick up The Tattooed Heart. That was all for September. Now let's move on to October. On October 6th, you have Carry On by Rainbow Rowell, and this is basically in Fangirl, if you've read Fangirl. If you haven't, highly recommend that you do. But in Fangirl, the main character wrote fan fiction of kind of like a Harry Potter-esque like fan fiction of a book, and basically Carry On is that fan fiction. I love how Rainbow Rowell is taking that idea and putting it into a whole other book, and I just think that's really creative, and I can't wait to read Carry On because I love Fangirl, and so I'm hoping that I will love Carry On just as much. On October 27th, you have The Iron Warrior, which is the third book of the Iron Face series by Julie Kagawa. I haven't read any of the books in this series, but I did read the Iron Queen series. That's kind of the prequel to this, and then this is kind of the sequel. So I really enjoyed the first type of books in the series, and so I just haven't gotten around to reading this, but it's just another book that I'm looking forward to coming out and that I can marathon when I end up reading the series. So basically it's about fairies and fae, and hard to talk about without spoiling the first like prequel, so I will leave you up to checking that all out because you can, because of Goodreads, which is an amazing place. And that is it for the books that I was looking forward to coming out in August and September and October. Yeah, so if you like my videos and you want to subscribe to my channel, please do so, and you can also follow me on Goodreads and Instagram and Twitter, and all those links are down below in the About section, so you can click on them and look at everything and follow me. So that's it. Bye! Welcome to Bring It On Books for November, and this is a little segment, in case you don't know, where I talk about all the books I'm looking forward to coming out for the upcoming month, which in this